Hey guys, Chris Atchison here, team leader of the Southwest Florida RE Group, powered by MVP Realty. It's great to see all you guys here online live, as well as those that are going to be watching this through my newsletter or my YouTube channel or via my Facebook post. I had a couple things I wanted to go over this week. I'm going to go over the basic metrics and market trends that we're seeing in the market. And then I kind of wanted to go into some of the strategies that I've been employing with buyers in this ultra low inventory type of market. You definitely need to have certain steps that you have to take and kind of just, have a different strategy for getting and securing the house that's right for you for the right price, right? Because there's not a lot of options out there right now. So, but before I get into all of that, I wanted to just reiterate something that I've talked to a couple people about this past week, which is don't feel like you're bothering me. Don't ever feel like you shouldn't reach out to me. The earlier you reach out to me, the better, because, there's a lot of things to research. There's a lot of considerations to make. And a lot of times some of these buying decisions can take a lot more than, several months to a year or even more. I've had buyers over the past week that have reached out to me saying that, they're only a couple months out from buying, they're 3 months out from buying. And, it would suit them a lot better strategically and from a probability standpoint if they had reached out to me earlier so that we could really get all of our ducks in a row right from the get-go to then, put everything in line and make the move right when the right property went up for sale, right? So I feel like a lot of people are kind of like, oh, I'm not ready now to buy, Chris. I'll be ready in 4 months or 5 months. I'm going to buy in 5 months, so I'm not ready right now. That kind of attitude, or that I should say, that mentality is not really going to benefit you as a buyer, right? You should really be communicating with me or whoever your realtor is early, so that you can get your research out of the way, identify the communities that you want, what areas you want to be in, and just don't feel like you're intruding or imposing by reaching out to me early. I like to talk to my buyers. I have buyers that are 2 years away from buying, but they're much better equipped to make the right decision quick once they are actually in a position to have the funds to execute, and they have their logistics set up to make the move, right? So that research that you do up front, that conversation and communication with me, your realtor, or whoever your realtor is, it's very important to get that done early and do your research and due diligence way before you actually are in a position to actually be ready to pull the trigger. Okay, so I just wanted to reinforce that. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and I'm going to pop up my little presentation here that I made for you guys. Hope you like it. And so I'm just going to go into this right now. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to be going over the August 2020 numbers, the whole month versus August 2020 of last year. I had a little typo in there. So August 2020 versus August 2019. Then I'm going to be going into what economists are forecasting in terms of appreciation over the next several years in Lee County and Collier County. Okay, this is a very reputable macroeconomic type of statistical group that does real estate forecasting. So I've taken their latest forecast specifically for our counties, and I wanted to share with you guys because I've never seen anything like it before, and it's important. And then I'm going to be going into how to buy a house in today's ultra low inventory market. What does that mean? It means that there's not a lot of homes for sale. So there's a strategy that you need to be aligned with as a buyer and with your realtor in order to get the right house for the right price. So let's just jump right into it. So August 2020. So in this edition, you can see that again, and this is a trend that's been going on since maybe 3 months after COVID. Median price per square foot across the board is going way up, notably for single families and condos, including median close price. I mean, for single family homes, it's gone up 15.3% for single family, and for condos, it's up 13.6%. I mean, that is extreme. Now, just one point that I wanted to reinforce with you guys is this isn't indicative of actual appreciation. This just means that more people are buying more expensive houses greater than the middle data point in the data set. Okay, what does that mean? It means that the median prices are going up, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the appreciation, for example, for single family homes is 15.3%. Okay, and this is August over August, so we're not comparing consecutive months. So there's a little bit of a, so I just wanted to like throw that out there, that kind of disclaimer. But it does mean that there is some significant appreciation going on, right? So why are these numbers going up so much, right? So on the right side, you can see there's a variety of reasons. You know, the statewide COVID measures and closures of the northern states. People are getting a little bit sick of that. Small business owners don't want to like have their business shut down, and they want to be free to do whatever they want. And then along the same vein, taxes are much better for small businesses, for individuals. There's no state income tax in Florida. There's no inheritance tax. There's no estate tax, right? So people, especially people on fixed incomes that are retiring, they might not be able to afford to retire in New Jersey or Massachusetts or Illinois, right? Because they're paying that extra 6%, 7% state income tax. And that can be a lot of money, right? So when you know, these people move to Florida, they're saving tens of thousands of dollars every year in their fixed income, and they don't have to pay as much on their, you know, whether they're going through an inheritance or they're setting up an estate to pass on to their children, et cetera. So there's just a lot of tax implications. And then, you know, people are obviously sick of the harsh winters in the Northeast, and a lot of people are actually now able to work remotely, right? So employers are like, look, I don't care where you work as long as you work your standard hours. And people are like, you know what? I don't want to be in Buffalo, New York anymore. I'd rather be in 10 minutes from the beach in Naples, Florida, or you know, Fort Myers or Estero. So that's all these factors are kind of driving these numbers to go up, along with a low inventory, right? So if supply is super low and demand is steady, prices will go up, but demand has gone up as well. Okay, so this is just, you know, the number of closed sales is up, and average days on market is plummeting, right? 71 days on market. I've never seen anything below 90. Now it's at 71. It was at like 97, 90, 98, you know, maybe 100 for years and years. Failed listings is kind of goes up and down, but it's not really as low as or as high as it was right after COVID, because everything was failing because no one was buying anything because we were in so much uncertainty. But now, you know, failed listings are generally going down. So this is a really important statistic that I've already brought up once, but I just wanted to reinforce it. So these are two of the forecasted appreciation graphs that for Lee County and Collier County. And this is assuming that you buy a house for $325,000 or a condo, and that you hold on to it for 7 years, right? And it's basically, you know, with 20% down, what kind of yield can you expect from this $325,000 home investment? So in Lee County, you can expect a return of, I think it's around 103,000. So if you see this last graph on the top left, 420. So your $325,000 house is expected or forecasted to be worth $428,000 in 7 years in Lee County. That's a return of over almost $15,000 a year. The APPR, the average return or yield per year, is almost $15,000 per year. That's a 23% return on investment, which is pretty darn good. 4.04% per year. So on the right side, you have Collier County. Again, it's the same thing. The appreciation is a little bit higher in Collier County than we're expected to see. So your $325,000 house is expected to be worth $434,000 in 7 years, right? And that's a $15,630 APPR, or average yield, average rate yield on your investment. That's a 24% ROI, right? So this is another reason why people are buying in Florida. And of course, on top of all this, interest rates are at an all-time low. Okay, so you know, you could wait a couple years to make that purchase, and obviously there's circumstances where you have to, right? But if it's possible, I mean, I've seen a lot of people that are buying now and just renting it out annually for a couple of years, right? Because they want to capitalize on this appreciation. They want to capitalize on the interest rates, and they don't want to miss the boat, basically, right? So what I wanted to go into next really quickly with you guys is the strategy for buying in an ultra low inventory market. This means the number of homes for sale in our market right now in Southwest Florida is extremely low, right? So how do you actually get the right house for the right price when you have so many other buyers from the Northeast and from the Midwest all competing to buy these homes, right? So the first thing is find a realtor that knows the areas that you're interested in and who is experienced and responsive. Communication is key. People have to, the realtor that you work with has to be able to get back to you in an instant, quickly, right? Because once that house goes on the market, you need to be able to get in touch with them, and they need to be able to set up a showing quickly, right? And you want to interview your realtor on what kind of offer strategy they like to employ to stand out in a market where there's just tons of multiple offers. I've never had so many multiple offer situations as I have had in the past 3 months in my entire real estate career, including when I was involved in real estate up north. Second thing is prepare yourself and your family to be able to move from your current home within 1 to 2 months. I've seen a couple instances where people are ready to go, they got their financing in order, and they're ready to pull the trigger, but then guess what? They're not ready to actually move. So what happens is they have to end up closing on the house, and then they can't actually move out of their other house for 2 months. So what does that mean? That means they're paying a mortgage for 2 months without actually occupying the home, which is pretty pointless, right? So try not to do that. Third thing, get all of your financing in order. Talk with your lender. Get your pre-approval and your documents 100% ready now. Make sure your funds are ready to be wired, your earnest money deposits, right? You don't want to find the right house and it's at a super aggressive price. Say it's a $400,000 3-bed, 2-bath in North Naples in a family community with low HOA fees, right? That's like the #1 demand product right now. So if you don't have your earnest money, you can write the offer up and do this and that, but if it's going to take you a week to get your earnest money deposit to them, then guess what? They're gonna be see you later. You got 3 days, you got to get us your earnest money, and then we're getting another buyer because there's plenty of people in line, right? But on the loan front, you want to get those documents in, because why not? Why not get the loan documents in now so that you don't have to just scramble like a maniac for 3 weeks trying to find all these things while you're under contract, right? And then risk going over your mortgage contingency date. It just doesn't make sense, right? So do that. Step 4, or point number 4, consult with your realtor to familiarize yourself with all of your target neighborhoods, as well as new construction options. You shouldn't have to wait for the right house to go for sale to do all of your research. So say that you just love, the Somerville 2 model for Lennar, right? But you don't know where, the layout in the house, and you just love that style. That's huge, great room with the extended island. But let's say a house goes for sale in Raffia Preserve and it matches everything you see, but you don't know anything about Raffia Preserve. You've never been there. You don't know the fees. You don't know what's included, and you haven't really you haven't seen the amenities. You haven't talked to anyone that lives in the neighborhood. Blah blah blah. So you don't know anything about it. So it might take you a couple of days to figure a lot of these things out. So do your research up front. Find the right communities. Find your target communities before you actually buy the house. You should know everything about every target community that you can, so that when that house goes for sale, you strike immediately and you got it. You don't have to wait because you already know everything, right? These are things that your realtor should be helping you out with. So communicate your target neighborhoods with your realtor up front, okay? So the 5th thing, determine the exact criteria and set up alerts with your realtor for your target neighborhoods. So say that you want a 3-bed, 2-bath, and you want at least 2,000 square feet, but it's got to be under 475,000, and it needs to have a pool, and it needs to have southern exposure and not be on a lake. It needs a preserved view, right? And it has to be in a community with fees lower than $350, and it can only be 1 story, right? It has to have white cabinets and it has to have quartz countertops, right? These are all things that you should tell your realtor explicitly up front in order to, you know, be ready to just make a move quickly, because once that email alert comes in and says, hey, Chris, we found a house for Andrew, you know, I can just jump on it and call you and say, hey, I got the house, let's go right now. And we can go see it. But if you're not ready to make the move, you're not ready to write the offer, guess what? Someone else will, because there are plenty of people in line, like I said before. And that's not me just trying to do the urgency sales pitch. That's just the way it is right now. So second to last thing, be ready and flexible, like I just mentioned, to see a home at a moment's notice. Any reasonably priced home will be under contract within a few days tops, especially if it's in the median price point range and it's a primary type of home, right? So if you're looking for that family home, $500,000, and it's priced well and it's in good condition and it shows well, that baby is going to be under contract so quickly. I mean, 7 hours, 6 hours, right? So it's pretty wild out there right now. And then, you know, you want to have some sort of differentiator in your offer. Maybe it's you can do a quick close. Maybe it's a huge earnest money deposit, which I'm a fan of because there's really no risk of losing it if you have your finances in order and you have, you know, a good amount of due diligence in your inspection period. There's no, it looks powerful to the seller, but you know, it really doesn't mean anything because you can back out and get your money back anyway within the 15-day due diligence period. So that's a big thing for me. Offering cash can be huge. A personal letter about how you and your family will love the home is a huge differentiator, huge, right? And there's 3 or 4 other ones that I'd be happy to share with you. So that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for joining me, and feel free to comment on this below, and feel free to give me a call anytime. My number is 609-634-4419. Shoot me a text. And again, please ask me any questions you want as early as you want, okay? It doesn't matter if you're 2 years out. It might take me a little bit of time to get back to you in certain scenarios if I'm writing an offer, if I'm in the car showing homes, but I can get one of my assistants to help you as well, okay? So we can move quickly, or we can, you know, I always work at my client's pace, but once you're ready to go, I'll be ready to go with you too. So hope you guys have a great weekend. And feel free to email me, like I said before, or reach out to me anytime, 609-634-4419. Thank you so much, and I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Take care.